Test, test. Just making a sound test to make sure. Just gonna check my feed, make sure that everything is sounding okay, so I can give you guys the best quality. Let's see. Alright. Passed. So, back again. Day 2, back in the saddle. We are, today we're gonna do a little bit of Imola again. I raced Imola yesterday, but I want to just attack it again today. So I'm gonna do a couple practice laps, and then we're gonna get into a race. But prior to getting into the race, I want to talk a little bit about how to get fast, like some of the folks that you see on YouTube and the other platforms. So let's just get the tires warm. Alright, so how to get fast. You know, real quick, I've been sim racing for a couple years now. I mean, you have sim racing, and then you have, you know, the casual driver, you know, someone who drives, let's say, who just plays racing games, we'll say. And what separates the two is pretty much like the knowledge of sim racing, the knowledge of the vehicle's physics, how the car reacts, techniques to make your car quicker around the track than the normal driver. So that's what really separates the two. I mean, I can't say time and dedication, right? Because a little bit of a spin. Because you have guys that will play like arcade style racers for some really long hours. So it's not a matter of how much time you spend on it, but it's more so a matter of what you spend time doing. Now, when it comes to sim racing, I believe that the way you get faster is by more so learning how to stick to the script of proper technique. So, for instance, knowing the phases of a corner, right? Sticking to the phases of a corner. Now, what? You got the braking point, you got your turn in, you got your apex, and you got your exit, right? Those are, what did it say, 4 phases of cornering. And then you have, sorry, I got a little beside myself. You have what is called muscle memory. So, muscle memory is simply learning how to execute those things over and over again without having to really focus on doing it. So that's what muscle memory to me is. Muscle memory plays a very big role in sim racing. You have to be like a real driver, you know, where you've practiced so many times doing what you're doing that it becomes second nature to you. Just like a real race car driver. You see these guys go out, they'll start, let's say, free practice, right? And then they'll go out and do qualifying. And by the time they go to race, Their car's already dialed in. They know the limits of the track. That when it's time to race, you're gonna see the best driving being done on a Sunday, because that car is tuned. And these guys know the track. Oh, supposed to be in fourth gear. Fourth gear would have kept me in there on the track. Forgive me if I'm a little all over the place with my words. I mean, this track is not exactly easy. It's a little technical at times. But getting faster as a sim racer just requires you to have muscle memory with techniques. Then a lot of times you come to realize that the reason why you're not as fast as a lot of people are, the reason why you're not as fast as a lot of sim racers out there is because your car is not properly tuned. Like me, I use default settings, right? Because you know, I don't really have so much time to learn tuning, right? Because you know, Premier Virtual Racing Academy is an actual business, and I really don't have the time to really just sit down and learn tuning. So I race a lot of default settings, and it requires you to, you know, if you race default settings, you'll find out that if you've like stuck to your muscle memory, if you stuck to like your techniques and all, practice a lot, you'll find out that like you're not as bad as you think you are. Now consider this: default settings versus a car that's dialed in and tuned for the track. I mean, you really cannot compete with those guys and girls that are out there, because their cars are dialed in, right? When you hit bumps, sometimes your car hit a bump and your wheels will come off the ground. Whereas when they hit a bump, their car continues to maintain grip. So all around the track, they're maintaining grip and you're losing time because your tires are bouncing all over the place. You know, so you're really at a disadvantage trying to be as fast as those guys and girls that are out there if you run default settings. But I will tell you this: get good at techniques, because what'll happen is, if let's say someone does give you a tune, you'll learn how to drive the car, you'll learn how to adjust to the tune, and before you know it, you'll be equally as fast or even faster. There's a chance, you know, or you can be slightly behind them in time. And I can attest to that. I was playing Automobilista 2 as I mean a straight rook. You know, I was coming from a Assetto Corsa. Touched the grass a little bit. It's coming from a Assetto Corsa, and I was getting into this sim that I had only heard about, and I gotta recover. Let me just go back to the pits. Kind of made a mental error, so I just wanted to recover from it because I started making more mental errors. But jumped on us Automobilista 2, and what I started doing was I started like going to the settings where you could actually copy the tune of the top drivers in the world. And I was playing VR. So having that advantage of playing VR, feeling like I'm in the car, seeing my wheels close in on the apex, it made life a little bit easier for me. So as I would take their tunes, I would be ranked like what? Let's say number 100. But when I would get the equal tune to the driver who's the fastest in the world, or even the number 10th in the world, I would jump the leaderboards to like number 7. I think the lowest I got was about 7 in the world, rank on not sure what track it was. It was a few tracks. I was number 15 on a certain track. I think on Imola I was like number 15. It was just, I was learning certain techniques, and then I was also learning techniques like this, like I won't be able to show you guys here, but like on like a more slow corner, well, like here, coming out of a slow corner, upshifting. That's not something that you just learn on your own. I mean, you can, but it's not something that I learned on my own. I learned it from watching the ghosts of the other guys. I'm taking the same corners as these guys, right? I have the same tune as these guys, but why can't I come out of the corner as quick as they can? Because what these guys are doing is they come into the corner, they downshift just like me, and instead of staying in a lower gear for power, what they're doing is they'll jump into a higher gear for stability, like right here. So I go down in a second, I turn and make my apex, I upshift so that I can actually get on the gas a lot quicker than I can in that lower gear. If you're in that lower gear, again, you know, you're dealing with a lot of compression, a lot of power in those first and second gears, that you get a lot of wheel spin. So in the heat of a race or the heat of qualifying, you know, you're trying to get off of that, trying to get out that corner quick, you'll burn rubber, you know, or you'll lose time. So those are little things that help me out in learning how to sim race. I mean, learning how to be quick sim racing. I mean, you're not gonna see no real quick times here, like I said, because I'm doing the default settings. I'm working on techniques, and we did a couple laps. Let's see. I want to head back to the pits. I just want to look at some data real quick. So the red line is my best time, and the last, let's see, so turn 1, got on the brake a little bit later. Alright, brake later. Pretty much the same, a little earlier. So these are like turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, you know, it's kind of laid out like that. Got on the brakes very late. Going into, this is the final corner, I believe. Going into the brakes late. I know exactly where this corner is. Okay, that makes sense. So I'm like visualizing the lap as I'm reading the telemetry data. So I can gain so much more time on just brakes alone. That's what I see here. I was doing a lot of talking, so if I'm not talking and I'm more focused on the actual lap, then those things kind of come to me. Like, I'll start chasing my delta, my time, trying to make sure that I'm like going quicker than my previous lap. So like when I'm like in the heat of thought, in the heat of like focus, I'll just look down at that time, and I can tell like, oh man, I need to save some time, you know. So I don't know about anybody else, but like I can almost tell like each lap when I'm going quicker than my previous lap, or I can tell like, let's say if I'm running and I'm like 2/10 behind, I'll like fast forward in my head to a corner that's coming up that I know that I could have done better at, and I'll say that's my mark. Like I'll set that as my mark, and I'll attempt to do to either break deeper into the corner. I'll either let's say I might have been in a bad position, and things like that, right? So, you know, that's things that go through my mind as I'm racing, as I'm trying to get my times together. So before I start, I'm actually send my link to a friend of mine. It just hit me as I was talking. He said, next time you're on, let me know. I said, alright, cool, I will. Alright, that's that. So, yeah, we're back at Imola. We're gonna do a quick little race. I did, I'll say what, 6 laps, you think? About 6 laps practice. 6 laps practice will get you ready for the race. The cool thing about practicing prior to the race is you get to pretty much push the limits of the track, right? You get to know how far you can late brake. You get to set your track limits where, you know, okay, I can take this corner in 4th gear as opposed to 5th gear. You know, like I know down to the gear, you know, what gear is going to put me on the limit of the track as I'm going through a corner. So in knowing all of those things, when I get into the race now, I keep those in the back of my mind. And what tends to happen is, as you may see a start, right? As we start, you're going to see like all of the cars jumbled up together. This is sound advice. That is not the time to try and attempt many passes. I mean, if there's a gap and you can make it without risking damaging the car, go for it. But races aren't won on the first lap. So my advice is to allow the field to start to stretch out. Allow these cars to start to breathe. And what can happen is, what you can do is, if you find yourself like we're starting in 7th place, during the start I might end up in 9th place because I don't want to get into a battle with these guys into the first corner. And as you'll see, I'll be in 9th maybe. You'll start to see the field start to stretch, and when I get a little bit of room, I can revert back to those times where I said, hey, push those limits. I'll start pushing the limits of the track, and I'll gain time on the car in front of me. And then you don't want to do passes into certain corners if you don't have to. You can pass with DRS. So that's pretty much how you survive. So let's give it a shot. It might take me a little while to get a clean race start because this is AI, and we do start AI with 92. So alright, so we got off the line pretty good. I'm stepping on my brake just a little bit. I know everybody's gonna start braking, and we all venture into turn number 1. I'm not chasing these guys down to get into the corners with them here, so I'm gonna let them go. Letting the field spread out. See that? See, I got a better exit. You know why? Because I upshifted out of that slow corner. Now, here's the thing. See, I actually nipped him because I went into the grass and I lost control, and I didn't want to go into that corner with him. So, like, again, I'm going to allow the field to stretch out, and then I'm going to give it all I got as the field starts to stretch, and I'm going to have more of a lower risk of damage. I do have every setting on penalties as well, so if I jump over the lines, I get the time penalty. This is the corner where I could have late braked and saved myself a lot of time. So this is what I was saying, like, if you can, wait till you get a moment on the straights where you could get like DRS and you could possibly chase him into the corner. If I can, see, I might pass him by now, and I don't have to worry about fighting in the corner with him. See that? Now remember, this is a 10-lap race, so I have time, you know, to make up. If I can continue doing that, let's see, well, I'm in 6th place, so if I can continue doing that tactic, then I'm gonna be fine. So we got a good exit on him. Now here's the thing, I've got the inside line. I don't want to drift wide, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna slow down, let him take the outside. Why? Because if I take that inside corner, I'm gonna run wide and I'm gonna slide into him, and I'll end up damaging my car. And when you have the settings on set to pro, what's gonna happen is, if I take damage, I'm gonna have to live with that for the rest of the race. And driving a damaged car, Formula 1 car, when you damage your aerodynamics, it sets you at a disadvantage. So this is a good place to be. If I wanted to, I would have to have been a little bit closer to take him on that inside corner. But again, I got my DRS zone. Get a better exit than him. Make sure I don't spin my rubber, my tires. Hit DRS, and I'm going for a pass. See that? Now we're in 5th. Set ourselves up. Again, it's all about your techniques. Sticking to your technique. Don't try and take them on these little turns here. Remember these little cheesy turns. Sometimes people want to seek glory, so you I figure I'll let him go. If I let him go, I don't have to worry about fighting him into this corner. I can get a better exit than him. Uh-oh, a little wide for me, but nevertheless, I'm still on his back. Right? But yeah, you don't want to seek glory, like I said, in the first laps. If it comes down to the world championship on the last lap, take him. You know what I'm saying? Give it all you got, man. Try to get a better exit, better angle. Ah, he slowed down. Alright, good, good. So it plays in our hand, right? Because these teams are not communicating with one another. They're not saying, hey, he's saving it for the DRS zone. So, you know, we up in the 4th place, so car got great aero, got great grip. I downshift some more. I should have did that in a straight line a little better than that though. Get down in a second, make my corner upshift, get on the, see, I'm on the throttle earlier than him. Why? Because I upshifted out of that corner. So now I have the outside line, but I'm gonna let him have the inside. See that? See how wide he went? Exactly why when you have that inside line, you just let him have it. He would have crashed right into me had I would have combated him, right? Going into that corner. These are things that you'll learn over time of racing against these guys. perfect, right? He has the brake. I can just take him into this corner. It's a little less risk when you have it set up, right? When you're like on his back and you know he's gonna step on his brakes. I have this guy in DRS, so look, second place. We might fight for first. I don't know. All right, and we did it, first place. So we're in first place. Not sure how many I don't have my spotter app on, so I don't know how many laps we got left. Oh, okay, we're on lap 5, so let's hunker down. Let's focus a little bit. Work on our better exit. And let's try and pull away from these guys, because no matter what, these guys are still there. One spin out, these guys are right there to take you. Uh-oh, had a bad downshift. So in order to sometimes you need a downshift, you have to get on that brake a little bit. Make sure my exits are good coming through here. And again, this is what I was saying. When you practice your limits, your track limits, what you can do is you can, at these times, you can pull away from these guys because like you're on the edge. Those little bit of those tenths of a second add up. I don't like that they give you DRS, but they give you DRS even when no one's in front of you. This is what I mean. Braking on the straight line, downshift. I want you to notice my wheel going over into the goes in over the curve a little bit sometimes. And that's again what I'm saying about pushing the limits. You know, pushing the limits of the track. Sometimes going out wide, it's best to go out wide when you're exiting because it sets you up for the next corner. So going out wide, and it helps you get on the power quicker. Those are those track limits I'm telling you about. If you can go out wide without running off the track, and that was a slow section for me, but hopefully it's all good. This is lap 7. Third gear. This is a third gear corner. I just want to smoothly apply the throttle. Braking a straight line, hit my apexes. That, oh my goodness, this section right here, if you get that wrong, what can happen is you run wide. Once you run wide, that's a sand pit. You're not coming out of there anytime soon. And that's where a lot of passing gets done. You'll end up from first place into 9th, if not more. I love this section right here. This is a big aerodynamic downforce section. Can't imagine trying to go through there in a normal car. I lost a little bit of focus right there as I was talking. Alright kids, so if there's any kids watching, but you can get good at racing if you pretty much just follow the rules of racing. Braking point. My braking point is against the wall over here. I look for that black, I look for the it's a light, like a traffic light. If you seen it, it was green. That's my that's like a note to myself when to apply the brakes. So I want to get into that corner as fast as I can. I want to brake as late as I can. Look at that, just a flick of the steering wheel, and the gear that I'm in is going to take me around that corner. Just make sure. Execution is a very big thing too, right? Because I have to make sure that I'm not like getting on the gas too quickly, right? So I'm doing slow applications of throttle. Hitting my apexes. You gotta make sure you hit all your apexes. That's where your speed comes from around the track when you're racing. Remember, if I hit all my apexes and the guy behind me misses 2, then I've, you know, in theory, I do a quicker lap than him. So at the same time, if a guy's in front of me and I hit all my apexes and he misses 2 of them, I'll gain time on him. I'll get closer and closer to passing him. So I did what, 6 practice laps prior to the 10-lap race. One thing you have to earn, not earn, but learn or earn, is endurance. You have to be able to endure focusing for over long periods of time. Want to make sure all your wheel settings are not so hard so that you're not having to like turn the car, if your wheel settings are too tough, then you'll find yourself like fighting the steering wheel over a 10-lap race and becoming exhausted. So you definitely want to have the, you know, decent wheel settings. I like to simulate. I like to see like the wheel settings of like real cars, whatever car I'm driving. I like to use settings like, you know, sorry. I like to see like I like to have the proper wheel settings is what I'm trying to say. So you do know over time your wheels start to lose grip. I'm not there yet, but you can feel it coming on. Uh-oh. Just a little bit of an error. Those slow corners, you can lose the most time, right? Because when you do like a hairpin corner, or in other words, I don't know what kind of corner that is, but oh, that's a chicane, sorry. Oh, first place. Alright, so P1. Anyway, as I was saying, when you get into those slow corners, what tends to happen is, you know, you can hit the curbs, and the curbs can cause you to generate like excessive wheel spin, which cause you to spin the car. It can. I've had times where I've been knocked into lower gears. Like I'll hit a jolt, and my hand will accidentally downshift. The slower corners are very dangerous, so you want to be proper. You want to like go into the slower corners with a little more precaution. You want to be where you need to be. You want to brake where you need to brake, downshift where you need to downshift, and be at the right speed that you need to be at. What happened there was I remember like trying to brake in a straight line, because I remember like prior laps, I was not braking in a straight line. I was taking my trail braking into the corner, and then I said, let me go back to proper technique. So as I broke in a straight line, I missed the braking point, and I took it a little bit too far. I was able to get the car slowed down. Thank God I was, plus 14 seconds faster than the entire field. So, but that's P1. Thought it was going to be a little rougher start, but it worked out. Let's just check out the replay here. Oh no, I hit restart. Whatever. See if I can hit the. I was gonna replay it, but oh yeah, we can replay it. So we can go out and then hit replay. I just want to see. Just want to see what it looks like. I'm so glad to be back streaming. I don't get a lot of viewers, but believe it or not, it's so much it's so therapeutic to do what you love doing. I love driving, and to just be able to talk about it. So that, whether it's 1 viewer, 2 viewers, I'm fine with that. Alright, so it's not going to give me the earlier laps. It's going to give us the later laps. So this is that. Let's see if I can get to that. Blah blah blah. Things happen, right? Anyway, just to make sure we still good. All right, our stream is still going. All right, so that was Imola. So now, let's just check, right? Let's just check and see what other tracks we can go to. I struggle with Brazil, but for some reason, I'm not a fan of Brazil on Assetto Corsa. I'm not a fan of that track. Only Interlagos, that is. That's this track here. I'm more of a fan of Interlagos on Automobilista 2. I don't have the current Vegas circuit, and since we haven't had the Vegas circuit, I don't like to run it at all. The Miami Grand Prix, that is a cool track. That is a very, very cool track. Street track, so it's like Monaco. It's like oh, you know what? Let's do Jeddah. Is Jeddah a street track? Is Jeddah a street track? Jeddah to me doesn't feel like a street track, but it does at the same time. It's weird, but it's actually, I think it's a circuit. I don't think it's a street track. Let's do Jeddah. And let's start practice on Jeddah. That I believe is a night circuit. So we'll turn it down, turn the lights down low. Now we'll change the time of the day to what is that? 8:02. Okay. So we're under the lights. Practice our start. So one thing you gotta remember too is, one thing you have to remember, if not, you'll waste all your time, is your outlap speeds. Don't try and take corners. You see I almost lost it right there. Don't try to take corners at race speed, because what happens is your tires have a little grip and you'll spin out easily, and I've damaged my car so many times on my outlap. Look at that fine turn there, boy. So I have to get used to the track all over again. I actually really like this track. It looks amazing in VR. It looks amazing in real life too. You just gotta love Formula One. Like, I love Formula One cars. How they drive around the track, the amount of handle, the amount of downforce. You know, it's like a beam of light bouncing around from, you know, corner to corner. That's how it feels at times, right? Like when you seeing it done very smoothly. Apex to apex, just like a beam of light. Keep my traction. I believe you can go flat out here in this corner. Definitely don't want to go flat out here. Come on the throttle a little bit later there. I like third gear. Fourth gear had me a little bit wide. Come around, let the aerodynamics take you around. The joy of these cars are the aerodynamics, man. I mean, there's just too many different things to like about F1. If you don't really like the competition, because one thing about the actual sport, Formula One, it's really the competition level, you know, between teams is not always there, right? Sometimes you have teams that are really good, and then you have teams that are like really bad. So that kind of like affects the racing aspect of it. But from a technological aspect, that's where like I'm a sucker for the technological aspect of racing Formula One cars. I need just enough speed to get me around here. Then I flat out here. Uh-oh. See? That's what I didn't want. I didn't want to touch that curb. Anyway, I like the technological aspect of Formula One because these cars are very light. These cars are very powerful. The aero package that these cars have produce, like, from what I understand, like thousands of pounds of downforce. The braking power that these cars are able to generate is just so powerful that the drivers have to like work out their necks in order to like be able to sustain just keeping their head up over the length of a race. The G-forces that these cars experience, they vary from like 1 to 4 G's per corner. What else? Even down to the pilot, the driver, whatever. They are special because they're able to harness this power. This car's close to 1,000 horsepower, and you really can't compare that to cars that we drive, right? Because the cars that we drive are 5,000 pounds, 6,000 pounds. I mean, these cars are, if 1,000 pounds, you know, because they're, look at the, I mean, you can look at the car right now and see how much carbon fiber is on this car. Like the whole car is made of carbon fiber. Outlap. Smooth as fast, right? Watch out for that curb. That's what sent us to the to the pit just now. Third gear. A little bit of gas. Sometimes you gotta take your foot off and let the car take you around. If you got your foot on the throttle, right, and the car starts to go like you experience your car going wide, just lightly, very lightly lift your foot off the throttle. That should get you back into the corner. Because these cars have so downforce, in order to generate like the car's downforce, you have to maintain some sort of speed going through each corner. So you really don't want to like just take your foot off the throttle and, you know, just go into the corner like this. See what I just did? Like I just cut power to the car, made the rear of the car light, threw the car into the corner, and then I get back onto the throttle, and what happens? The car sits back down. The tires just take me for a ride. That's all that happened. Pure physics. So that's something to think about. Looking at the time a minute ago, I'm on for about 46 minutes, so I'm gonna cut the stream here. Got to get up for work in the morning. I don't want to dedicate too much time to doing this, because if I'm doing too much of this, I'm not doing enough of that. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you guys for, you know, hanging out with me. Really enjoy doing what I do. I want you guys to check out PremierVRAcademy.com. Excuse me, PremierVRA.com. It's PremierVR Academy is my company that I made to teach children the fundamentals of automotive racing and teach them about the different careers in motorsports. And we're doing great. Check out some of our videos. We have quite a few students that are very interested. We are in at-risk communities dealing with at-risk youth, trying to pretty much get them to invest in their future. Doing something maybe that they never thought that they could do. You know, not everyone thinks that they could drive a race car professionally one day, but we never know. So PremierVR Academy, we act as a stepping stone into the world of motorsports to just get a child the basic understanding of racing fundamentals, and we're gonna do that until maybe someone makes it. Maybe someone becomes the next Lewis Hamilton. But if not, I'm very much happy with just spending time with them, right? And getting them to just, become broader in their way of thinking. So check out PremierVRA.com. Check out the rest of our videos. I want you to like and subscribe, share with your friends. Let them know, say, there's this guy on there, he's doing some cool things. I want you guys to help me out. If you like to donate, you can donate. Our Cash App is $PremierVRA. We have Venmo, PremierVRA. You can also send us something via PayPal. It's PremierVRAcademy@gmail.com is our website. Is our PayPal address. So if you want to donate, $5, $10, $20, doesn't matter. Anything helps. You can do it with those. The link should be in the bio. But if not, you have the information. But all right, thank you guys for your time. All right, you guys have a good night, and I will see you soon.